Welcome to another SRX Track guide. Me and my community are trying to run a few different time slots of SRX this season to try and get some participation going, since unfortunately it's not a very popular series. Those time slots are on your screen now in UTC, so feel free to join us for any of those. The third one in particular got quite a lot of signups for SRX last week at South Boston, so hopefully we can keep that momentum going and keep that up. You can also join my Discord in the description below, where we can chat about the races as and when they happen. So hopefully see you in there or in the races. But here is the guide for week 2 at Lanier. So this track is nothing super complicated as far, compared to South Boston. However, it's certainly a lot wider. So the difference that I'm finding more than anything is on the corner exit. But let's start on the entry as always. So braking, I think I didn't brake any more than maybe 20%, and it's a long trail brake down to the bottom, and then of course gradually getting on the power again. So I'm trying to get down to the bottom. I don't do a very good job on many of these laps of getting all the way to the bottom. I did a pretty good job there, but yeah, the main thing is to do a gradual turn. I'm trying not to turn too much on the wheel until I'm down to the bottom. So if you look at my steering input here, I kind of only go sort of 45 degrees, and then I bring it closer to 90 as I get down to the bottom. I don't want to be turning so much as I'm doing the braking, but as I get down to the bottom I can just put the wheel lock in. Try not to exceed, I don't ever reach 90, I don't think. Try not to exceed it either, that's for sure. But yeah, just being very gradual on the turn in. And then yeah, sometimes I'm taking a bit too much speed and not really hitting the bottom ideally. And then on the power, you still have to be careful. But at South Boston I felt like it was understeering into the wall. Whereas here, it's more oversteer, I find, if you get on the throttle too early. Particularly because you're tracking out so much. And it's easy to get on the throttle when you're still turning. That wasn't a particularly good corner from me, so let's look at the next one here. What you'll notice is I go to maybe like 50% instantly as I'm through the middle part and now exiting the corner. But then I will have to wait to get full throttle as I release the steering, and you'll see that I'm probably not full throttle until I'm basically all the way up against the wall and exiting. So let's just watch here. I'm fighting the wheel a little bit, and it's not the smoothest on throttle, but you could see that I was very late getting to full throttle. That's a pretty good one, although I'm not very all the way up to the wall, so I could have maybe carried more speed through the middle and exit portion. Let's watch 9.5 speed here. So again, rolling through the middle up to 50% as I start taking off steering, and then that last 45 degrees or so are when I release, add the throttle as well. So throttle going up almost with the steering wheel, and then once I'm straight, I hit full throttle. I think ideally you want to be way up against the wall when you get full throttle, so I haven't really maximized that corner. But it was a pretty good example of the inputs to go in slow motion. And I am fighting the car a little bit sometimes. You don't do that too much, obviously, you'll probably end up overheating your tires. I found the rears were feeling quite hot towards the end of a run here, 40-lap race. So keep that in mind. You will sort of feel the rear stepping out as you're on the limit, but also you want to keep that in check a little bit because you want to have something at the end. So those are my tips for this track. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and hopefully see you in some of our races.